The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiaries, affiliates, or financial supporters.
Winning victory through Christ, WVTC Allsip Chicago, an iNetworks communication station.
Welcome to Exposing the Narratives, where we examine, reveal, and discuss various topics, events, and of course, the narratives in the spirit of kingdom building through Jesus Christ. Hosted by three awesome men of God, Reverend Morris, aka Frankie D, Pastor Clarence W. Olloway III, pastor of Living Water MB Church, and Pastor Eric Taylor, aka Tae, pastor of Manifest Ministries. And now, join us in Exposing the Narrative.
Welcome, everybody, to another Monday, Exciting Monday, Exposing Narrative. I'm Pastor Tae.
Frankie D.
I'm glad to see you all today. Thanks for joining us. We had a powerful show last week. Had some guests come in unexpectedly great. It was a blessing. They came in from Dr. Jameson. John Ramon Perry came in. It was just phenomenal and a blessing with that. That's what it's all about. Men coming together. Iron sharpening iron, talking about ways to edify the kingdom, how we build up and help each other. Just phenomenal show. And we know God is always in our lives for another phenomenal show today. So once again, welcome you all to Exposing the Narrative. Yes.
I had a ball last week. It was good having Dr. Jimerson on, and also President WVTC Ramon Perry on. We had a great conversation. The only thing I can tell you all is that you all need to start making sure you all invite people out to listen, like and share, because these next several weeks, the only thing I can say is that you talk about exposing the narrative. We're going to be definitely exposing the narrative, things and conversation that people don't like to have in church.
Yes. I definitely want to have everybody had a great weekend. I've been having a great weekend myself. A great mainly because I had some issues, but mainly because I'm alive, I'm healthy. I thank God for that because things have come. And a lot of times things come now, I kind of, I would say to everybody, show line, I discovered the more closer you draw with God, and you have to understand his ways, really in a real relationship way. When things come your way, the more the word is revealed to you, not so much in understanding, but more so in your way of life. If I understand more of my understanding my way of life, the book of James, more count it all joy. And I don't get happy when things come, but I'm happy the fact I got a joy the fact I have a God that understands, a God that's with me. So the joy that I feel is not because I'm going through the joy I feel. Oh, thank Lord I have you, oh Father God, I have you, and you totally beyond anybody to understand what I'm going through. So I kind of more and more you live and things happen. I just look at it that way. So hopefully that encouraged one of you to look at that book in a different way. But I did have a phenomenal weekend. I must say this before we get to our show. And I'm sorry whose feelings it may hurt today, but I must say it. And just Gary, brace yourself. Yep, Aaron Rod is still on the Chicago Bears. Yeah, he's still on y'all. I'm definitely a phenomenal Bear fan, a Packer fan. I bleed green. I really think.
The following program contains views that are not those of WVTC, iNetworks Communications, their subsidiary.
And I really thank for the fact that, but they did what they're supposed to. I mean, the Bears was more just, they see a mirage. You get hot when you see things, or you see it's more of a. You guys ain't a real team yet. Right?
You just heard you just heard what it just said, right?
Hello, everyone.
Good morning. Good morning, Dean.
Happy
Good morning,
Packer Day.
Dr.
Yeah, Green Bay Day.
Yeah, no. We're not starting this off with no Packer stuff today. No nonsense with this Packer stuff.
Oh my goodness. I was against that. See, it's funny. I mean, Barry, I really felt the players all pumped.
When it's all said and said, we're still 1-1.
Yeah,
you 1-1, we're 1-1.
Yeah, and so one thing I always do now, I mean, how hard we get to that show is always the schedule for Packers each year, and I go right up says Bears, I always go W. I know that's gonna be a win for Packers right there.
Wow.
It's sad, but that's what it is, So it was a blessing to see that. Last time you got glued to the TV when little Justin Field threw a little, everybody's, oh! I said, okay, just give it a minute.
You
You're
know,
gonna
you
repeat.
know, you know, they cheated him out of that touchdown though,
Even give it to him, still would have lost.
huh?
You gave it to him, still would have
It
lost.
would no, it might have been a different story. You know, you and I both know that that was a touchdown. They replayed that thing over and over and over again, and that the tip of that football went over that goal line. Can you at least admit that much?
I'll admit this: when you run in like Aaron Jones, I ain't gonna need no replay.
Yeah, you know, hey, I
It's
ain't mad
just
because I had him on
powerful.
my fantasy football team,
So I
so
know you
I
was
ain't
happy
mad at
yesterday, weren't you?
all.
You
You
was happy
know,
yesterday, weren't you?
you know, that's one thing I like about fantasy football is that no matter how bad the Bears might be or how good they might be, it's all about fantasy football to me. I don't pay
Who
no
was your
attention.
quarterback?
Oh, my quarterback
Brady?
is I actually honest with you, in
Yeah.
one league I got Aaron Rodgers, but he's sitting on the bench. But I do have Josh Allen starting. I got
Okay.
Josh Allen in all three of my leagues. But I
Okay.
do have Aaron Rodgers as the backup quarterback.
Now what about who's your receiver? Cooper
Um,
Cup.
I
You better have Cooper Cup somewhere on there.
I have Cooper Cup. I kept him. Actually have Cooper Cup. Um, in my start, I have Cooper Cup. I also have I got who else? Also, who do I have? Matter of fact, I'll tell you what.
Monty
I'll tell you my
Adams.
team. Matter of fact,
Uh,
this is my team. This is my winning team right here because actually I won the championship last year. In one of my leagues in my keeper league. So let's see who I got here. All right, this is my starting lineup. My team. I got Josh Allen as my quarterback. I got Derrick Henry as a running back. I got Aaron Jones as a running back. I got Cooper Cup, Cortland Sutton. I got Darren Waller as my tight end. I got I'm not even try Clyde Edwards of Kansas City is in my starting lineup. 49ers defense, and that's my starting lineup right now. The other ones, you
right.
know, they're okay, but you know, I got crazy as my son. I got Lazard too,
Okay.
so I do got a few Packers on my squad.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. That's good. Yeah. Now, I done talked some football. Let's get down to the sports here. Last week's show, we were talking about things church position. It was really powerful. And we left off with X and everybody who's on the show today. If you could design a church where it was you had the money wasn't an issue, you had guaranteed 2,000 members, but once you design and said, how would you design your service to look like? What would it be? How would your service look like? You got the money's not an issue, you're gonna design this service. That's how it's gonna be. They don't change it up. So, what idea would you have? You could design you think the service that would hold the people and bring people in and win souls and keep people edified and everything else to come in. What do you? How would your church look like? Church service.
Now let me
Yes.
ask you a question. With
Yes.
that, do I have a good budget to sit here and spend what I
I
want to
mean,
spend?
the spiritual one is bad. Now you have to say
All
designate
right.
so much of people that you have. But if you want this, people can. I just talking for us what it will, how the floor serves will look, what you have, things like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, number one, um I will probably have a virtual world,
Yeah.
a virtual service that people can watch our services from those binocular, those you know, those glasses that you can
Okay.
actually
Oh, okay.
3D, that 10D
That's
look
cool.
type look.
Okay.
I would probably have that. Also, I would have that would probably be in the youth section, more
Mm,
so the adult section, to be able to bring kids to be able to go have church during service,
mm,
and still be able to get a word of God and get that involved. So I would have a virtual world just for kids so
mm.
that they can learn about Bible and biblical stuff. So that's number one. Number two, I would also have um a computer screen in front of each section of the pew.
Okay.
Um each section of a pew. So each person that's sitting behind a pew will have their own little computer that they'll be able to be on service live and be able to make comments and still be able
Okay.
to, just like they're sitting at home. But the only difference is they can actually hear the service or see the service in different views and things. So I will have that on each pew. that they be able to make comments if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I will make sure that yeah, and definitely service within an hour.
Oh
um, and
yeah.
no more than an hour and a half, and that's really pushing it. I would definitely not have service more than an hour, hour and a half at the most, because I understand that sometimes you're going to go over that hour, but do the best you possibly can to keep it within an hour. But it would be more technical,
Mm-hmm.
technology savvy. I believe that people like going even now. You think about how many people actually at the church during church service not only watches the service from looking at it, but they also go on their phone and see the comments that are being made or making comments while they're in sanctuary from their
Mm-hmm.
phones. So I would give them that same type of capability to be able to do, but right in front of them.
That's awesome.
That's just a few things, and I would still have at least choir. I would at least have at least one song.
Mm-hmm.
The choir sings at least one song.
Okay.
um Keep it down. Even coming in, I would probably change the tithes and offering. I would
Okay.
have people paying tithes coming in, and I would have people paying tithes and offering coming in, and I would have them paying going out.
Okay.
That way we don't have to stop service. They pay their tithes and offering coming in, or they pay their tithes and offering coming out.
Okay.
That way, and see how that goes. But these are different ways of doing it, because that's 5 to 10 minutes that we take out doing offering.
Okay.
That way we can take care of it on the way in, take care on the way out. That'll cut out some time, and people don't feel pressured, because some people really don't have the finances,
Mm-hmm.
and then people around looking and see who's bringing money up or who's not bringing money up, and
Mm-hmm.
it sometimes take the pressure off of people. Not sitting there saying that, and that giving is something a choice. I
Mm-hmm.
believe everybody should give, but I also don't believe that people should be chastised for not being able to give.
You're right.
So, that's just some of the things that I would definitely do. All right, let's see.
It's pretty good.
Revenue announcements. All right, let's see. Revenues announcements just have an website. That too. Yeah, absolutely. Um, Either pay at the beginning of church service, be able to do it from the app, Givelify, um, what do you call it, Zelle, Cash App, or whatever way that you have set
Mm-hmm.
up with your church. These are definitely different ways of doing it too, because most of the time I do pay tithes and offering. I use I use Givelify or Zelle. I rarely walk in with cash, because nowadays I don't want to be reaching in my pocket pulling out money, because your money gets lost that way. So I try to keep down as much money as possible. So,
Mm-hmm.
but either way it goes, my thing is this: I will have big TV screens around the sanctuary, that everybody be able to see what they don't see, um, and be able to, just like I said, just be able to at least take this to the 22nd century.
Okay. That's awesome. I guess as some several things, you definitely have an interactive type service where you can push buttons and answer yes and no responses. I would want a drama production short almost every Sunday pertaining to something I'm past it, something I'm speaking about. So I
Mhm.
want a quick drama production in service every Sunday. Built on a 3 to 5 minute type production they're doing, incorporated with video and live. If you remember that particular show they had with Michael Jackson, This Is It, it'd be something similar to that, where it'd be like, past video, past live stream. I would mute you down. Which photo? I would definitely have, I would mute him a little bit. I
I
would
just moved
definitely
them.
have, yeah, I would have that, and I would have, like I said, the screens and things like that. And one thing I offer class on Sundays. Every Sunday, be a particular class you want to take on Sunday, a few class off every Sunday. So basically, if you want to, before the message, take the particular 30-minute class you can, and stuff like that. Some people are going to come by. I want to get them where they're at. So saying they're going to write this. It'd be class offered right on Sunday morning, and different type of classes. Maybe a 30-minute class they can go to right before the message. Some people, everybody don't get the same music. I mean, so that part they want to take this class of how to understand the Bible, or how do I defend my faith. They can go right to the class around on Sunday and do that. Off around on Sunday morning, things like that. And definitely want the sound system to be right, but not too loud. Really kind of more surround sound than just coming from one banging point, where it's more clear, where the sound is coming even volume all the way around. I want a back section of the church, probably 3 or 4 rows, back in the back 5 rows, with tables, and you can bring your coffee in and sit there, have your coffee, and you right in the service, just in the back part of it. It's like a little aisle that divides you from that part, but you get your coffee cup. Naturally, you don't want to bring your donuts and potato chips in there, but you got your coffee in there. And have a cafe and drink your coffee and have your notes taken in if you want to take notes and sit there and watch the service, But it's not for you to have no, like business conversation about the service, stuff like that. Kind of let them know, and that's what it's for. So we want to drink coffee in the morning. Matter of fact, our church could have a little before the pandemic hit. That's what we did at our church. We had like fresh coffee in the morning. For to bring in the back part of the church, you could do that. It wasn't a huge church, but you could do it real like that. So I could incorporate it in a bigger way with the table. So if we can, he can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So if you could design the perfect church, money window issue, how a service, how would it look like?
It would look like the perfect church for me would look like the Kroc Center on 119. Have you ever seen the Kroc Center on 119?
Go ahead.
It has 2 Olympic-sized pools, 4 basketball courts, sanctuary, office space.
Yeah, we talking for service though. They'll hoop. I didn't. They'll listen to the word hooping.
You said no money.
I'm saying money. I'm saying we talking about a floor of service. So you're gonna have it like where you going.
He's talking about the actual sanctuary,
service,
not the actual
sanctuary,
building itself.
Yeah, service. Yeah. So have you designed the perfect service? How would it be with money?
Service in the building, the material part of it is different. That's different. Well,
not to tell me if people come to church. If you gonna have 50 people say hello. You're gonna dive in the pool, then dry off, and go sit down. What the service part, not the actual what they can do during the week and after service. The service, the extra part.
Service would be the service that I have. I would open up service as usual, have some singing, preaching, and go home.
Okay, so we kind of had some technology going on. Then I like he had the
y'all talking about that
screens in front of
you
people.
can't fly in here. You talking about that razzle dazzle, big screens.
No, he's like the screen in front of everybody. I like that idea. That was right there in front of everybody. I like that idea.
What, touch screen in front of everybody?
Yeah. Touch screen in front of everybody. That way, because a lot of people when they in church service, they get in front of they be using their phones. They even go Facebook Live watching it while in service.
Well, that's the whole purpose of the app, giving people to be interactive.
Yeah.
With service. But I came in on the end of the question. I'm sorry. Hello, everybody. I got a meeting I'm supposed to be in, but I wanted to come in and see what these guys were talking about. I didn't want y'all to think I had abandoned them.
Two wins in a row. Yeah, 2 exhibitions going last.
Yeah, I didn't want y'all to feel like orphans or anything.
Oh, not at all, bro. But I will say this much: we've been praying for you and your loss.
Yes.
I'm sorry that I was not able to make the service, but you know where I was at. But I just want to let you know that I'm still continuously. We are still continuously praying for you and your family.
I appreciate it, man. We good. I would really, in the future, want to talk about the sense of loss. But I did have a question. One of our viewers had a question, and I wanted to pose it to you. Hold
on. Give me 2 minutes. Go ahead and finish talking about the type of church you want, and then pose a question. Give me 2 minutes. I got to run and let somebody in real quick. Hold on.
Okay. All right.
I go ahead. You finish. I go to the next question.
No. What's the next thing? Go ahead.
The next one is okay. We're talking about the state of the church and what do we do I know we talked about Jameson. I asked you the question, I asked him, which last was good. He challenged me. I was saying I feel that churches need to. Do you feel that churches need to evangelize more? And maybe look at the way they evangelize. That maybe they evaluate it and go to a retraining, or just reevaluate to remake over the whole way we evangelize now as a church.
Well, look, what might work for somebody else may not work for you. That's how I look at it. Evangelism to me is growing people inside your four walls and sending them out to spread the good news. That you can do so much training, but it's your testimony, it's the impact, it's the influence that allows us to have the increase in church. And then one of the things is we read in Acts where he says that the Lord adds to the church as he sees fit daily. I always looked at that scripture as being, are we fit to be added to? So when you talk about evangelizing, what's our purpose? To put people in the seat or to change people's lives?
And that's a good point. That's one thing to do, because basically it's like, the church has been decreasing for a long time. This pandemic, some people are never coming back to church. It's just what it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's constant and ground. But as a church, we have to look at that. How do we get people, some of us are butts in seats, but we got to say, how do we figure out, how do we evangelize better? How do we get people that was back involved so they can be an asset, a help to the kingdom? That's what just being in the church is to be there. But how do we get people back to working in the church, working in ministry instead of being at home? So those people that actually was active in the church is doing things. Whether people are feeding the homeless, doing things, they now have come to a place to sit at the house. How do it really good?
Well, I'm about to go into a meeting with about 30 pastors. That's where I'm at. I'm at the meeting about 30 pastors, and I wanted to come out because I wasn't going to be able to get with you guys in the last half hour, but I also wanted to get in on some of the conversation that you had started last week. And one of the things, because people were really excited about last week, and one of the viewers called me and basically asked the question of titles. How do you refer to a pastor who has doctor? Is it Reverend, Doctor? No, it's people just say doctor, if they PhD or they're a doctor. But she said some people get offended if you don't use the doctor, because how is it supposed to be written out in the program? Reverend, Doctor, your name, that's it. That's the proper way to do it. Some people leave off the Reverend and just put the Doctor. Some people leave off Reverend and Doctor and put Bishop. And my thing is, we're all servants. But like I was explaining to her, the best way I can explain it to you is it depends on the person.
Yeah.
It depends on the person.
Because I've seen people that were loaded with, all kind of education. They were just so humble. They don't even bring it up. I know a guy like 2-3 masters, a doctor in 2 different fields. He was like, and all that. But then some people, they like, one person asked one time, and jokingly I always say, it sounded like me years ago. How do God get to be apostle and bishop and have like 6 members? We got one church. And he got these, like, we went overboard with these titles sometimes. You know what I mean? I'm apostle this. Because you might joke. Everybody who don't know, I joke with Pastor Clarence all the time. I joke and say, I'm the Pope. I just be joking about it.
No, I gave you that nickname because I joke about every time this dude used to call me in the morning before he would say hello, how you doing? Did you wake up this morning? This cat would say, do you have anything to confess, my son? I almost cut. That's where that Pope came from.
So I mean, how these titles? People are real humble. These titles, man. I know people, and I know some college people I know. because they be telling this Pope, I'm sorry, Apostle this, Bishop. I mean, Jesus Christ, all these names. It's like, and that's one thing sometimes, just honestly, to everybody, people, it's a joke sometimes, people out in the world. It's a joke to them.
Well, people don't really understand titles based on denomination. We don't have elders in the Baptist church. We have minister and reverend, pastor and deacon, and now evangelist. Some women prefer to be called evangelists because
don't forget the deaconess
and deaconess.
Yeah.
Because we definitely don't want to offend nobody. So
no, I'm not offended. What I'm trying to say is some women prefer evangelists because in our mind, in our recent history, evangelist has always been considered a female title.
Dr. Cherry.
But what gets me is this. There's services that I go to, and they'll have an evangelist for the night, and they'll call Pastor OLLOWAY is the evangelist for the night. So you just.
But there's I know people are pastors and they women now because they're in Church of God in Christ. They can't be called that. They got to be called evangelists. So it depends on denominations too.
Denominations and what they choose.
Good evening. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Hey, Dr. Cherry. Next week we're gonna have a panel discussion. If you want to get involved, it's gonna be hot. It's gonna probably be around 4 or 5 of us on next week, maybe even 6 of us. So if you want to get involved, let us know, because this is an interesting conversation. So we can get information, but yeah, we definitely want to have a good time next week.
Are we doing the panel discussion for?
No. This is just exposing the narrative. Remember the subject I brought up for next week as far as divorce in the church.
Oh, divorce in the church. Okay.
So yeah, so it's definitely something that we're gonna be bringing a lawyer in next week, and we get more information on that. And yeah, so ready to go ahead and have a great conversation because something that you really don't like to talk about in church.
Well,
we get more into that later.
We don't like to talk about it, but it's present in the church. Once again, the church is a microcosm of society. Whatever you have in society, you have in the church.
Yeah. But we don't like to talk about it in the church, even though you're absolutely positively right. But let's keep it real. We don't like to talk about a lot of stuff that are going on in the world in the churches anymore.
And that's why sometimes me and Pastor Clarence, Pastor OLLOWAY, we talk a lot of times. It's certain ministers. I feel you're gonna have somebody you like to minister to. Me and some certain ministers I listen to, and some of the ones I like is the fact that they don't bag off of no subject. They don't bag off of same-sex marriage. They don't bag off of a lot of topics. That's why it's kind of a little bit because they avoid those subjects at all costs. When I got a few gentlemen I listen to that's out there, I guess you say TV evangelists or pass on TV. A few of them I like, they didn't bag off at all. It's just exactly what it is. This is what it is. No, I'm not changing.
And they were on TV.
Yeah, I'll tell one. I like John McCarthy. And I know he did some points. He said some racist, but John McCarthy don't bag off of that stuff. He don't bag off. John McCarthy don't
he doesn't. He doesn't bag off.
None of that. He doesn't bag. He doesn't bag off. It's more. Subject. He for one, he's not going to bag off same-sex marriage. He's not going to bag off divorce. He's not. I'm saying he don't bag off of none of that stuff. I've never seen him bag off any subject. Now you might like some things he say, but he's not going to bag off of it. I say
but you know something. Even then, I get it. I'm standing on that rock, but sometimes we still have to say it in a manner that is.
Well, listen, fellas, I gotta respectfully leave the session
and come back some good information, man. Let's be sitting around and talking and man, my church and get some good information, man.
Yeah.
This isn't what this is about. This is fellowship that I'm about to do.
Oh, okay.
This is
Just
fellowship.
You tell them, look, we're good fellowship, guys.
Do
Let's
you
get some
do
stuff
you
done. Let's win some
do
souls.
you understand the covenant of breaking bread?
Do you understand when Peter stopped fishing for men? Jesus said,
Do
look,
you
are you going
understand?
fishing? Come off
Do
that
you
boat. Fish for
understand
men.
the
He had been fishing his
covenant
whole life.
of
He
breaking
was fishing
bread?
he was cleaning bass his whole life. Jesus said, come on, fish a men now.
You all miss each other. Just go ahead. Just go
Wash
ahead
your
and admit it.
hands.
Y'all
Wash
miss
your
each
hands and come
other.
on, let's get some men.
I'm signing off.
Andrew said, okay, I'm with you.
Farewell. I wish you good luck, Frankie D, because now you know I tried to come in to give you a little break, but we know. Pastor Taylor, congratulations. I saw you in the fish story this morning. Well done, sir. Well done. We're not gonna call you to go to Nineveh. We're calling you to go in the streets of Chicago. Have a great day, fellas. Talk to you.
All right, love you, bro.
Love you both.
Yeah, I'm glad Dr. Holloway was able to step in.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
Okay,
so
right.
let's go ahead back to. All right,
Yes.
so Dr. Cherry, we're gonna ask you a quick question. You're still on. If you had any amount of money, just real quick in your comments, if you had any type of amount of money for your church, what would you do differently in this season to be able to? You can have as much money you want to set your church up the way you want to set it up. What would you do differently with your church? But okay, but go ahead. Let's see what Miss Cheryl put. Please have a discussion on widows in the church, especially since when widows know are all ages.
Yeah,
That's a very
that's true. That's
I
real.
tell you what.
That's real.
Maybe we can talk about that next. That'd be one of the subjects we talk about next week too.
As well, yeah.
Because we will have a lawyer on too, so he'll be able to maybe even answer questions as far as that's concerned.
Right.
But okay, all right. So let's go ahead. What's the next one?
Oh, you're talking to me? I think you
Yeah,
the
talking
chair
to
is
you.
coming in. Okay, all right.
Well,
Yeah.
no.
Good. Okay, so I know we talked about last week too about what do we do as far as our church, as far as how we advance to the next level of technology. You've got some great things. I think we definitely have to partner as churches more to help each other because we can't stay on these islands by ourselves and think that hey we can sit down.
All right. Find something practical to support and finance out of the church, shelters or something like that. Okay. See that actually that's a great one. Matter of fact, we didn't even talk about that one. The outreach,
Mm-hmm.
the church outreach. What are we doing to put back into the neighborhoods?
Mm-hmm.
Not just into the churches, but also put back into the neighborhoods. Um, a homeless shelter with all these empty buildings that they are just tearing down or that just abandoned. We got so many people that are homeless. Um, more food ministries. Um, what are some other things that you can think of that you would do in the neighborhood that you're in?
I think as we do that too, we always have to figure out a way how we could teach them how to fish. As we can. If someone just like the words say, the poor will be with you always. But to those we can turn their life around. Some people are just victim of circumstance. I saw somebody about the other day. I was saying that I know a gentleman was back in 20, maybe 15, 16, making about $170,000 a year. And had a lot of misfortune and turn around,
Amen.
man, was almost homeless years later because stuff just turning events happen. And it can happen to anybody. But then some people are just out there because they don't want to do anything else. Sometimes people are victim of circumstance. So as we
Amen.
do out there helping the homeless, go ahead.
Amen. Well, not
So
just that. We shouldn't just have to wait to Christmas and Thanksgiving to feed the homeless.
exactly.
Hot food.
And then how do we get them to create a talk like I know we get this certain tents. My church we kind of on the west side we help a lot and we go out there and talk to them and we try to see what they need as well as try to evangelize to them and what do you got going on? Are you looking for? I try to bring resources. Basically if I know people that's got your church doesn't necessarily always have all the resources, but sometimes your church can be the vessel to a resource. So hey, what do you need? I know this lady to help you with this. So I always try to go out there with have been a vessel to some resource. I know some people that's doing some things, but I'll also say if you're going to refer people as a church to a particular organization, make sure you as a church go check it out and see if they're gonna do everything they say. 'Cause sometimes there's been times where you may have a brochure and you kind of disappointed with the fact with the service they offer, what they really offer, say what their brochure, their cards
Right.
say. But I think we have to go out there with some time, be able to funnel people to some services,
Right.
and
Yeah,
it's
like Miss Bobby was saying that New Gideon, they give out clothes and do stuff in their community. I know that Dr. Cherry, he does a lot of things out in Evanston for his community. Miss Cheryl was in there saying mental health facilities. That's a very, very great point. To deal with our mental health situation that we have going on nowadays. It seems as if the youth are you starting to see a lot more um, youth that are having mental issues. So, what are we doing as a church to be able to fight and deal with the mental issues that are going on now? And if nothing else, COVID has really exposed it to a different level. So, we have to be able to get things as far as different programs. Because when I say that it is going wild, it's going actually rapid and wild.
yeah,
Um,
yes, right. That's one thing I definitely had noticed it when some issues my family, they lost my son. I started talking to a lot of psychologists, MD psychologists, and the thing I discovered that it was some people that actually had been because of the pandemic, they had never seen a rise. Always been kind of a not that many people to take care of people for his mental health, but they said a rise had almost tripled during the time of the pandemic. One doctor told me she had seen more young people she ever seen her whole career
yeah,
during the
yeah.
time of the pandemic, and some of them still struggle this day. And from grown folks, and some of them close to from being in the house and no social thing. So it's been really something else. With mental health has been looked over
Yeah,
so much. And, yeah,
you think about it. One of the things is that youth are seeing you die at levels that we've never seen before.
exactly. Yeah.
I remember a time that you used to be able to go out on a corner or go out in the street playing basketball or playing hopscotch or just sitting on your porch without having to worry about somebody shooting or somebody getting killed. The last couple times I've been in the city, um, I've heard gunshots, and that's something I normally didn't hear on a Sunday morning, early in the morning. I'm listening to 12, 15 shots go off on a Sunday morning. You didn't used to hear
Yeah.
that in the
It is sad. It's become like a norm. It's like that's like and it shouldn't be a norm. People are just getting used to they're just shooting like that. You go back 20 years ago, like man, they shoot. There's they shooting. In some neighborhoods, it was kind of okay, but now it's becoming like I just shoot. That's them shooting over there.
Yeah.
Like it's no big deal, but it should be a big deal. And it's really sad, and we have to. I don't know. It's sometimes I always pray to God. What do we do as ministers? We do as people of God. What do we do to try to we can't reach the masses, but what do we do as Africans say, each one teach one? How do we do that in a positive way? Hopefully we could plant a seed and God will water it and change some other lives. It's really it's really rapid. It's something else. It's just I never could have dreamed what's going on now.
No, no, absolutely. Let me ask you all a question, and please put in the comments. Is there is the church failing as far as our youth in this gun violence in the city of Chicago or anywhere else? Do you feel the church is failing? And if so, what can the church do to be able to slow some of this violence down? Because if I'll be honest with each other, we all know somebody that's doing the shooting. It's one of our cousins, it's one of our family members, it might be our son, our daughter, it's somebody, it might be even a close friend to a friend. But we all know somebody that's out there doing some stuff out there that is taking lives and shooting. So what can we do as a church, and is the church failing? What do you think, Doc?
Wow. Um, I know some churches personally are doing some things. They're out there, they beating the street, they talking. One thing I used to kind of look at was somebody commenting. Bobby Hull says certain neighborhoods are asking their children they're sleeping on the floor, and oh my God, keep them from getting that's really
Yeah,
sad. That's,
something that is sad when you got to get to the point that you have to sleep on the floor in your own home because you're afraid of getting shot in the bed. And that's we're in a real bad situation, in a bad place when you have to tell your children and your children's children to lay on the floor so they don't get shot.
Right.
You
That's
know,
it.
and then we wonder why. All right, here we go. Nope. We can only work with those who come. We can't help those who don't come. I apologize. My eyesight is really messed up today. We
We
can
can do.
do outreach and everything. However, we can only impact where we have access. Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question, Dr. Cherry. Out in Evanston, what programs do you all have out there that you think that might work out there, that's not that we can maybe implement in the city? But go ahead with your answer, Doc.
Yeah. But what I was saying is that some churches are doing a lot. One thing I'm kind of glad I stopped seeing a lot of. Used to kind of be almost kind of annoying because a lot of residents. Back in like 2018, 2017, 2019, I was over at the Park District in Austin. And they had these every Wednesday, honk if you know Jesus, honk if you know Jesus. And some of the residents would say, man, what's wrong? You know, those people, there. I said, I know. As he's talking to him, I knew some people, from the churches I see out there. He said, that's ridiculous. They don't do nothing. All that noise they making, just honking. What is that going to do? You got people excited on the street, blowing. But I agree to a point. I went to a pastor and say, it's cool what y'all doing, going out there trying to be visible, but what are you doing? Because it's honk, Jesus. I think a lot of them have stopped it over the years, last few years, but that was kind of like, I know for going to Western Austin area, it was driving people nuts because they got them signs and because it didn't do anything. It just seeing a presence out there, they just honk, Jesus, and make a lot of noise. Our residents resent it rather than walk and pray for people and talk to people and honk, Jesus. What she said, we're having huge issues now, and we are at a program-rich community. But if the young people have no hope, how can we help? How can we help?
Mm.
That's a very good point. I'm gonna tell you one thing that I had discovered when I was, before the pandemic, and I was just up in Austin community, and I discovered I got more information from the youth about other youth, and you have to find those. It's hard sometimes. The youth that they do come in there, it wasn't committed. I get them sometime to bring other youth in. At the time, I had an advantage. I guess I was running the studio, and I was running the video production. So a lot of kids come in, and I tell them to come to rap and things like that do, and I let them go for what they know for a few days. And I said, okay, now we're gonna get some rules, is rapping, all over the place. But yeah, I got more information from the youth about the other youth and bring them in. They had to tell them, oh, they think Mr. E, he cool. We gotta talk to Mr. E. And I found so much things going on in the community sometime before it happened. They tell me, let me tell you what's going on with Mike. Oh my God, let me tell you what's going on with him. He got a gun. Really, what happened? They tell me like that. So sometimes kind of connect with those youth that's kind of, I guess, it's cool and out there, but your program is cool enough where they don't feel nerdy. For some reason, me being involved with the production and music, they felt I was cool to come in there without looking like, I guess, a lame or a nerd coming and hanging with me because of that. So the kids say, you going to the park? Oh man, I'm in the studio. They felt good about that part of it. So it's a tough thing, but it's fine. Those kids is kind of niched in with the other youth, and sometimes they can show you, hey, it's a cool place to come, and they come, some unfortunately someone be smelling like weed, someone that's here, and so I had to lay some rules down. Hey man, look, yeah, you can expect weed, but make sure you put out for you coming here. Let me try and drink nothing in here. I did the rules like that. That's why they respect me for that, and I give my little speeches in a cool way. But I found out a lot what was going on with the youth from the youth. That's how they found those particular key youth. Some of the regular programs don't get them. Go ahead.
And while you all talking about that, I started thinking about programs for youth. I remember we used to have Vacation Bible School. Do they still do Vacation Bible School anymore? I remember there used to be programs just for youth, and it seems like I don't hear about a lot of different programs. Maybe I'm just missing it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not seeing it. But we're even afraid to even put our kids in youth. Oh, they are still having Vacation Bible School. Okay.
And here the thing is, you say that's church. One thing I noticed with the park was this. What I thought was so, and I helped instrument this, implement this at Austin Town Hall, was the fact that sometimes a lot of park districts do it. It's just not just the city park districts. When a kid get 12, they're kind of done with it. That's the sad part. most programs in Park District are from the young ones to 12. And so what I do at Austin Town Hall, I say, look, hey, let's get a team program. You know, I take the boys, them come through me. Let's rap, let's I had to find instrument to talk about and do things, because that's that generation from 12 and up is where they really start getting into problems. You get, nowadays, I think it's problems from 9-year-olds now, 11-year-olds now, but that took a time, say 3-4 years ago, the parks would be done. They had most of them don't have programs for 12 and up, and that's kind of the problem. I mean, when they get to that age between 12 and up, and that's what they say their churches and stuff too. They develop programs for that 12 and up group, because that's the group that's kind of the issues.
We have to start reaching our youth even younger, because it seems like by the time they get to 11, 12 years old, they've already set and they've already started to go down a path that might not be um, positive. It might be a negative type path. I remember the days that we was, and I know those days are basically over, because if you look at churches now, you don't see as many youth as you see back in the
Oh,
day.
right, that's true.
Um, and they're going to be our next generation that's going to be taking over these churches. So what do we do to be able to get these youth back in here? We have to come together as churches, as men and women of God, no matter if you from the Baptist church, no matter if you from the AME church, no matter if you from Church of God church, no matter what it is, we need to come on one accord. And until we finally do come on one accord, the enemy is devouring us because he's dividing us. And that's just my opinion. And don't these are not views and opinions of WVTC radio, but these are my opinions that I've seen, that we do not come on one accord. We are
I've even
one
had
of
some
the
talk
only.
to,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, I've even had some pastors talk today that 20 that 2025, that generation is kind of really out there too. Go ahead, sit down. We always hear what is the church doing, but this is a problem that larger than the church. Yes, there are other establishment organizations out there in which we need to try and get together as one. I agree,
Amen.
100%,
Amen. Absolutely. That's what I'm just
100%,
saying. Literally, that we
100%.
have to come. We have to be able to get on one accord. And until we do, like I said, it's going to continuously, because let's be honest. Pastor Cherry says something. If matter of fact, if you all are in the Evanston neighborhood on a Sunday, or if you near there, if you want to hear a great man of God preach, when I say that he's one of my favorite preachers that can preach his mind off, and when I say that he is one, then yeah, definitely you gotta have to check out his church. Dr. Chair, if you don't mind putting your information in the comments where your church is. If you all are near the Evanston area, you all have to hear this man of God preach. He is
What
truly a great man of God.
And
Um,
one thing we have to do is decide what are we looking for. We come together. We share a mind. We're looking to help save the youth and
mhm.
everybody. We can't be about these, like I said, just bringing them in who got the biggest program, and that's why they've hurt people of color for so long. We worried about the big eyes, the little U's, and who's running, who's in top, and forget about the objective, the main objective. And we forget in churches too. Don't worry about so much. Worry about so much uh, putting butts in seats. Are we worried about changing lives? So we got to do these young people. We're part of these organizations. Someone stated we got to partner with for the right reason. The organization can also be willing to work together. They have to be, because organizations they can't just really stand alone either. Everybody work together.
Right.
Pastor Cherry put up his praise God. Put his yeah. Matter of fact, I had a great conversation a few days ago with last week with your brother. We had a great conversation about evangelism, and it was an awesome conversation. And feeding the homeless, the whole thing. I want to check him out one Saturday. He told me his feeding program from I think it's like from what is it, 10 to 12 or 9 to 12. I'm gonna go out there one out south one day and hang out with him. Yeah, but long story short, that's what we have to do with it. These organizations. I've worked with organizations. It's interesting though, doing what I do for living the production stuff. I met some organizations that basically they concern with other stuff that are trying to look at uh, really helping the youth. A lot of them looking for the next grant, and that's that. And they sometimes they forget they're caught up in that instead of the objective. And I say we got to get the objective. There's too much stuff going on here. Wonderful young man.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yes. Yes,
definitely
he
is.
is.
Yeah. We had a great conversation. We was on the phone. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, all the cherries can throw down behind that pulpit. So yeah, so they're all great men of God.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we need to start. We need to get it together
Mm-hmm.
because when you're afraid to go to the city, you're afraid to go to the store, when you're afraid to even get come out your car at the gas station, and you got to watch your back and things like that. It's just getting to the point that now um that when preachers have to walk in a pulpit carrying guns,
Mm-hmm.
we're in a bad situation. When the deacon board has to be lined up with guns on their hips, you're in a bad situation. When 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 we have to do things like we had to talk about last month, as far as the the preacher that got robbed with all his jewelry
Mm-hmm.
at church, we're in a bad situation, whether it was fake or not fake. But the fact is that we're in treacherous times, and it's time for us to just put our pride aside and start coming, and let's start working together.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna expose the narrative and try to get people, and let's get on one accord.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And as we said one day before, now I said again, we got to figure out how we can speak hope in their minds and hope that seed
Amen.
of hope. They get a hope in their mind. They can change their life because that's sometimes that some feel they have no hope.
Amen.
I mean, a few years ago, you asked me, they know they're gonna make it to be 19 years old, and it's gotten worse just over the last 3 years. You think it's just to 2019, it's totally got
Yeah.
oh my
I
gosh, it's insane.
when I was coming up, I didn't think I'd make it to the age of 21, 22.
And why was that?
Even because just the little slick stuff I was doing when I was younger. My mom and dad didn't know that the way I was living sometime when I was in the streets. But I just the way I was living. Had guns pulled on me. I've had bullets fly past me when I was younger, and just doing dumb stuff. And I didn't think I'd make it to the age of 21, 22. And the last time I got a gun pulled on me when I was about 21 years old, it was told to me, either you stop that trying to live that lifestyle, or just end up dead or in jail. So I had to make up my mind, and I'd say, okay, well, something, I want to live, but well, we need to give these youth something to help to live by. We need more mentors. We need more people that are willing to let them know that, hey, something, there's a better way out of here. We're going to try to put together programs here that we're going to show youth how to start their own business, start their own radio stations, start their own platform to be able to say something positive. So we are going to start doing some things like that at the station. Yeah, I'm sorry, have my eyes dilated today, so it's really hard for me to literally see a lot of stuff that I normally would be able to see.
Okay, saying that years ago, various organizations were working with youth to get them off the street, temporarily having basketball games during the night when crime occurs until politicians got involved, and that's the politics got involved. Sorry, politics
Yeah,
got involved,
yeah,
and that's sometimes true. It's just, we got to figure out other ways. And one thing we got to figure out new and creative ways of how to get them
yeah.
involved with things. And we
But
also, when we do stuff at night like that, now we got to protect the ones out there. Like we recently had something going on. It was last weekend at a park, and just on the other side of the park, so we got in a scuffle and we're shooting each other. We got to figure out
but
how do
not
we.
not 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 just that. A few weeks ago, there was a shooting out south in the south suburbs at a
Mm,
church that has a basketball court at it, and somebody got killed inside the gym, and it was supposed to
I
be
didn't hear about
what's
that.
the name?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. So it just so we like I said, we are going to be on October 21st. WVTC, Chicago Baptist Institute, and Illinois Baptist Convention, we're going to be putting together a prayer visual from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And I'm looking for pastors, ministers, evangelists to come and pray for 10 minutes and give a encouraging word. I definitely want you to be a part of that, Dr. Cherry. Definitely, matter of fact, all the cherries, I want you to definitely be a part of it. Um, I just, we need to come and we're going to pray. So we're going to utilize this platform to be able to pray for our nation, pray for our neighborhoods, pray for our churches, pray for our youth. Um, because right now we need not just prayer, but we need more. We need action. We need to be able to finally put our pride aside and let's come on one accord.
Yeah. Yeah, what? So 10. All right, yeah. We got to figure out a way, actually, too. Also, how do we may have to sometime bring in some youth on, some trouble youth on the show. Just kind of pick their brain, ask them. Sometimes that's the source. Maybe they might, they might want to be, their faces blah, blah, blah. But what do they think? We reach some of their friends. We'll reach them. That might be an approach too. I know. Some of them have done it already offline, but way to bring these more people in to figure out how. Because sometimes they'll know how to reach their peers. What can we do? So, like I said, I know some ministers who already done that. It's offline. But we got to do more of it. How do we, ask them? How do we reach? What do you think? Because I know one time, a while back, I was talking to a bunch of youth. Like I said, back in, I realized I worked with the Austin community. And they were telling me, listen, Mr. E, everybody don't want to play basketball. So, so everybody don't play.
Well, I mean, teach them more
a variety of things we have to get for them to reach.
Teach them how to play. Teach them how to play chess.
Yeah,
to use your mind. Teach them how to play. Teach them different strategy type games that don't have to basketball, because basketball is nice and everything else, but at my age, as good as I might have been or thought I was, I can't play basketball anymore. I got to use my brain now, because I can't get out there playing basketball at my age now, because I end up pulling hamstrings, breaking a leg or something. So I can't afford to play basketball anymore.
We'd find those digital shorts there too, because even though we want to get back to the the hand and touch stuff, they want everything digital now. It's kind of sad. They want everything digital. So we get some digital chess games.
Yeah. So either way it goes. But hey, something, next week we want you, make sure you come back, like and share. But you all do not want to mix next week. When I say that it's going to be a show that people are going to be talking about for days, weeks, months, please like and share and let people know. Make sure that you do not miss Exposing the Narrative next week. So we've enjoyed being with you tonight. I'm Frankie D.
And Pastor Taylor Taye. Enjoyed you all tonight. I always remember today, be happy the fact that Packers came through just like I knew they would.
All right, in that note, just continue to keep on praying for Taye over there in the corner. and Father, for he know not what he do.
Listen, next week I got to autograph football to Brent Favre and some other autograph stuff.
We love you all. You all have a good one. He's being cut off right now. We love you. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Views made on the preceding program are not those of WVTC Radio, iNetworks Communications, or their financial supporters.